Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. It's great to have you. As always, welcome back to our subscribers. I appreciate you being here. And if you're new to the channel, if you're finding us for that very first time, welcome as well. And please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, consider becoming a member, and then to learn more about me, learn more about my company, and numerous ways that we can help take your business to that next level, please check out the links below. Now, with that said, let's get into our topic here today, and it's 10 ways to get your gym prospects to call you back. 10 ways to get your gym prospect to call you back, okay? Now, let's just talk for a second about follow-up. Follow-up, it's either one of the biggest problems in the industry or it's one of the biggest opportunities. I'll let you decide which one it's going to be for you. But, follow-up, for folks that do it right, if you're not doing it right now and you start to do it right, this can result in as much as a 20% increase in your business. There's huge opportunities here. And it's leads that are already bought and paid for, okay? We just have to communicate with them, okay? So I want to talk about ways to get people to call you back because, if you make 100 calls, 100 dials of the phone, depending on how good you are at this, you'll probably get a hold of 20, talk to 20, 80 you won't. How do we get the other 80 to call us back? What are some things that we can do? Okay, so let's get into some ideas, okay, because I really want to encourage the idea of follow-up, and then, of course, we want to get better and better at it, the more we do it. So number one, there's a fine line between persistence and stalking. There's a fine line between persistence and stalking. Now, a couple things I want to say here is, A, I rarely give up on this, okay? The secret to this is we want to provide more value than what we're asking for in return, okay? And so it's on us to provide that value, and as long as we're doing that, there's really no reason to give up, because if we know that we can solve our customers' problems, if we know we have the best facility to solve their problems, and if we know now's the best time, then my way of looking at this, we have an obligation to stay after this. But do it from a standpoint of nurturing. Do it from a standpoint of working to maintain interest, of working to maintain value, of, we're kind of moving a person through the process. They're way over here. They're cold. They're not sure what they want to do. Not sure they can believe you, okay? And we're working them through this process. So, we want to stay, true to it, okay? And we want to be sold ourselves. And if we know we can solve the problem, let's stay after it. Now, the difference between persistence and stalking, it's not, we're just not calling them relentlessly. Okay, we're calling them, and every time we call them, we are adding value. There's value to every call. Unless that customer has given us a buying signal, we're not going for the sale. Unless they say, well, hey, how do those classes work? Do I have to book in advance? Okay, buying signal. Okay, but until they do that, it's more of a nurturing type call. But stay persistent. Don't give up. Okay, I like to stay in touch at some level. We'll talk about this here in a bit. But I like to stay in touch at some level on a weekly basis. And if I do talk to the person, hey, do you mind if I call you back same time next week just to see how you're doing? Okay, I'll just get permission. Number two, let people off the hook. Let these folks off the hook. Okay, and if a person has said, well, I'm really not ready to join right now. Mary, I understand. I wouldn't expect you to be ready to join right now. It's your best response. Okay, doesn't mean you're giving up. Okay, doesn't mean you're less sold on this. Doesn't mean you can't help solve their problems. But if they're not ready, you're not going to push them into being ready. Okay, let them off the hook. Mary, I understand. I wouldn't expect you to be ready right now. Now let's talk about, maybe here's a couple things you can do around the house as far as exercise programs, or here's some proper eating ideas, when you're traveling, with your company. But when I say let them off the hook, learn to be agreeable. You guys are just a lot more expensive than what I thought it was going to be. Mary, I understand. Seems like everything costs more money these days. And then go back to your nurturing and try to move them through that cold to soul. But let them off the hook. Just be agreeable. Just be agreeable. You will find the more you do that, the more people are willing to talk to you. Okay. Number three, send a handwritten note. I mean, what do we do? What's everything these days? It's a direct message, it's an email, it's a text. It's all digital, it's all electronic. Send a handwritten note. Let them know you were thinking about them. Let them know you got some new programs over here that are specifically geared to what they're trying to accomplish. Or, hey, I've made arrangements to get you, 3 complimentary classes. Or, hey, I just wanted to say hi. Because the whole idea here is you're trying to stay in front of these folks so that the time and point when they are ready, they think of you. They don't think of somebody else. Okay. Number 4, put them on auto drip. Put them on auto drip. Okay. And, some kind of automated follow-up. Okay. Whether it be text, whether it be email. There's good products out there. Or if you send an email out to somebody, they don't respond to it, it'll automatically send a follow-up in another week. If that doesn't get responded to, you get another follow-up in another week, and so on and so forth. You use the automated programs to help you do this. Don't let that be the only thing that you do. You don't want to take the human element out of this, okay? But set them up on auto drip. Okay. Number 5, ask them if they're okay. Here's what I mean. Okay. Hey, the last time we talked, you mentioned you were looking to lose 20 pounds, firm up, and get back into shape. I wanted to see if those are still your goals. I wanted to see how you're doing on those. You're checking in on them, see how they're doing. Okay. And maybe you got some exciting news for them. Hey, we're having a big community day over here at the gym. Wanted to invite you. There's no charge, no cost, no obligation, no nothing. It'd be great if you can come by. Oh, I just can't make it. Mary, I understand. Let them off the hook. Mary, I understand. It seems like everybody's kind of busy these days. And then maybe give them some exercises that they can do at home. We want to be easy to work with. We want to be easy to work with. Okay. Number 6, create a deadline. Okay. Depending on what you have, create a deadline. If we're nurturing, you're really not going to have a sales deadline, but a sales deadline, you're going to want to have that. But I'll give you one of the things that we've used that's worked pretty well, okay, in terms of using that create a deadline. If we call a customer up and say we're leaving a voicemail message, and I may have some very exciting news for you, Mary. I will be available today between 3 and 5:30. If you can call me between that time, be happy to go over that with you. Kind of created a deadline of when they needed to call. Doesn't mean you wouldn't take their call at other times. Doesn't necessarily mean they won't call at other times. But you kind of create that window. You create that deadline of when they can call. Okay, you start creating some scarcity in there. Okay, we'll start helping to get some of those calls. Keep track of who has not answered. Keep track of who has not answered. Okay, and you'll get a lot of folks that don't. Okay, now part of that can be our fault because maybe we're calling the same people at the same time every day. I'll give you a quick idea on that. We call it the 3-round system of calling. If we've got folks that we're not getting in touch with, on the 3-round system, we'll call them in round 1. Okay, we're going to call them, and let's say they don't answer, and typically we will not leave a message at that point. Then we're going to call them in round 2. This is all the same day. We're going to call them at round 2. They don't answer then. Okay, we're still not going to leave a message, and then we're going to call them later in the day. We're going to call at round 3. Okay, now if they don't answer there, then at that point we would leave a message. But the idea is we want to call at different points during the day because we're trying to get a hold of them. We're not just trying to leave messages. Okay, and so keep track of who's not answered and use something like a 3-round system of calling. Okay, number 8, separate the facts from your imagination. Okay, separate the facts from your imagination. And I'll give you one that I see frequently is when we're booking appointments, is someone will say, oh yeah, I've got 5 appointments for today. Well, those are not appointments, those are maybes. Customers say, well, maybe I'll come by, which means they probably won't, right? Maybe I'll come by, I'll see if I can make it. Okay, separate the facts from our imagination. Okay, our imagination is, hey, I've got 5 appointments. Not really. Okay, we want to make sure we separate what's real and what's not. Okay, we start believing our own stuff sometimes, so be careful of that. Number 9, call early or late in the day. Call early or late in the day. This is something a lot of people don't do. I mean, they'll call 10 o'clock in the morning, they'll call 2 o'clock in the afternoon, never get a hold of these folks, and that's why they call at the same time every day. Call early, call late. One of my favorite stories on this is we had a gentleman we were working with at a club, and he'd gone through a lot of training. He was having a lot of success, and he was having really an extraordinary amount of success on getting a hold of people and people calling him back and confirming appointments and getting them in. He was doing exceptionally well. And we were in a training, and I asked him, I said, well, what are you doing that's getting such great results? And here's what he said. He goes, Jim, every time I talk to somebody, I simply ask permission if I can call them while they're getting ready for work. Mr. Smith, is it okay with you if I call you in the morning while you're getting ready for work? So he's got permission to call kind of early, right? And he's getting a hold of everybody. They know who it is when the phone rings. It gets confirmed. He gets them in. He gets them signed up. Works really well. Okay? He had the courage to do that. Do you have the courage to do something like that? And all you're doing is asking permission. Hey, is it okay? If they say no, then don't do it. Okay? If they say yes, great. Okay? Don't abuse it, but, go for it. And number 10 on my list of 10 ways to get your gym prospect to call you back, change your media. Change your media. Change how you're communicating. Let's don't lose sight of the phone call. That's always going to be number one. But it doesn't always have to be text. It doesn't always have to be email. It can be some kind of a direct message. It can be in Messenger. Maybe it's in some kind of an app. It's some different kind of format. But change the way you do it. Okay, maybe you do a video like this, and hey, Mary, I was thinking about you. I wanted to put this video together for you to tell you what's been going on over here. But change your media, change it up a little bit. So 10 potential ways to get your gym prospect to call you back. Let's really work on that follow-up. That follow-up is something that, it's sitting right there. It's already bought and paid for. Let's make good use of it. So folks, my name is Jim Thomas. My company's Fitness Management and Consulting. Appreciate you being here at the channel today. If you've not yet done so, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, consider becoming a member, and then to learn more about me and my company and how we can help take your business to that next level, check out the many links below, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in that next video.